The year is 2015. It's a hot June afternoon, and I'm 17 years old with hot pink hair and a baritone saxophone nearly as big as I am. I'm sitting on the main stage in downtown Elkhart, Indiana, buzzing with the type of excitement that only live music can bring. It's the Elkhart Jazz Festival, and for high school musicians like me, it wasn't just a chance to attend a music festival, it was a chance to be a part of one. For one weekend of the year, downtown Elkhart transformed into a vibrant mix of street fairs and jazz lounges, with music and camaraderie pouring out from every street corner. Even though that day was nearly a decade ago, I still remember it vividly. The sun in my eyes, my friends beside me, the sounds of saxophones and swung eighth notes drifting through the air. That kind of memory sticks with you, not because someone read it off a program brochure, but because I lived it. And as neuroscience tells us, our brains are wired to remember stories much better than isolated facts. The rush of anticipation, the high after playing my solo piece, very, very good. Those moments activated my brain far more deeply than any set list or festival statistic ever could. That's why storytelling isn't just sentimental, it's strategic. See, humans are wired for stories. We don't just enjoy them, we're biologically built to live through them. According to research from the Neuroleadership Institute, storytelling engages our attention in ways raw data simply can't. When you listen to a story, the neurons in your brain fire in the same pattern as the storytellers, a phenomenon called neuron coupling. This activates your motor, sensory, and frontal cortices, essentially making your brain respond as if you're experiencing the story firsthand. And when a story builds anticipation or emotion, our brains release dopamine, making those memories stronger and more lasting. This is why emotionally charged stories, like that hot June afternoon in Elkhart, stay with us long after the fact. So, if storytelling is how our brains connect and remember, then for artists and arts organizations, it's one of the most powerful tools we have. In arts marketing, we're not just selling tickets, we're inviting people into our story. By sharing the story behind the art, we create an emotional connection that makes the experience personal. People don't just want to know what you're doing, they want to know why you're doing it. Imagine the Elkhart Jazz Festival's social media page. One post lists the performers and set times. Another shows a photo of a pink-haired 17-year-old girl with a bari sax stepping onto the main stage for the first time. Which one do you remember? The second one doesn't just inform, it inspires. It creates empathy and places the audience in someone else's shoes. That's the power of story. Shelley Quantz at West Virginia University reminds us that effective storytelling begins with understanding your audience's values, interests, and motivations. When you frame your story so the audience sees themselves as the protagonist, you invite them to join your mission. Storytelling also drives word of mouth marketing. People don't repost stats, they share stories. And consistent storytelling over time builds brand loyalty. People remember how you made them feel, not just the details of the event they attended. So, use stories in your marketing strategy, whether through mini documentaries about artist residencies, behind the scenes rehearsal footage, or firsthand blog posts from collaborators. Give people multiple ways to step into your story. Storytelling isn't just for marketing, it's also a powerful tool when you're asking for funding. Grant writing isn't just about proving your worth with numbers, it's about making funders care. They might skim over spreadsheets, but they'll remember a well told story that brings your mission to life. You can use the classic storytelling art in your grant narratives. Problem: what's the challenge you're addressing? Protagonist: who's driving the change? Your organization, an artist, a community? Allies: who's supporting the work? partners, funders, collaborators? Solution. What do you plan to do with the funding? Conclusion. What's the impact or broader change? And happily ever after. Where does the funder fit in this success story? Then you can translate the application questions into story beats. Let's think about a common question you'll see on a grant application. Describe your organization's mission and recent activities. Instead of saying this, our organization presents 20 performances annually in downtown Elkhart, featuring a mix of local and national musicians. We also run an educational outreach program for high school students interested in jazz performance. It's all right, but try this instead. Each summer, we transform downtown Elkhart into a living, breathing jazz experience by bringing in 20 ensembles from near and far. Through our educational outreach program, we offer performance opportunities to local high school musicians, many of whom have never played in a professional setting. One of those student performers, just a few years ago, was a 17-year-old girl with hot pink hair and a baritone saxophone. She wasn't just watching from the audience, she was on stage playing alongside seasoned pros, realizing for the first time that her music had place in a world. That's the heart of what we do. We don't just present jazz, we create transformative moments that inspire the next generation, strengthen our community, and preserve Indiana's rich musical heritage. When done well, storytelling gives funders a reason to invest, not just in a program, but in a future. I didn't know it then, sitting under the hot June sun, but that day on the Elkhart Jazz Festival stage was more than just a performance. It was my introduction to a lifetime of storytelling through the arts. And the organizations that made that moment possible didn't just make it happen through logistics and planning, they told a story that I wanted to be a part of. So whether you're inviting someone to a performance or asking them to support your mission, don't just share the facts, share the story. Because stories stick, they connect, and most of all, they inspire. Thank you.